Hi there, everyone. It is day 21 of our nursing school mindset edit. So, welcome. Pop into the comments. Let me know that you are here. And today we're going to talk about rethinking the study group. Okay. So, here's what I've observed from students over the past, I don't know, about 10 years, right? If a student is struggling or has any uncertainty about how to study for nursing school, it seems like the go to advice, the go to tactic is to get in a study group, right? While study groups can and do amazing things for students, they're not always the best option. Most of the time, they are a giant waste of time. There, I said it. That doesn't mean others. You can develop or build or start a study group that actually works and doesn't waste your time. Okay? So, Anne's here and Sally. Hello. Okay, so one of the first problems with study groups is the size. Um, a bigger study group really has the tendency to have a lot more risks for wasting your time and being ineffective. So, the main reasons for that are a lot of times it's really hard to keep a big group really focused. And what happens is there's a lot more social interaction than there is studying going on. Social interaction is great, it's absolutely crucial, but you have to keep it very intentional and you're studying kind of separate from that. Because if you've only got 1 hour or 2 hours or whatever it is, and your study group chit chats for the first 20 to 30 minutes, you're really not making the best use of your time, right? So, again, risk for turning into social hour. They tend to lack structure. They often don't take into account different learning styles. They are often lacking in clear goals, and the less confident students, maybe the more shy students, have the risk of getting kind of lost in the crowd. Okay, and just because of all of this, they can be really inefficient if you don't design your study group or set it up in such a way that it's super intentional. Okay, give me a thumbs up if that is making sense so far. So my big wake up call with study groups happened, I want to say, like week 1 of my first semester of nursing school. And then ever since then, I just kind of saw this same thing play out over and over and over again. So we had a million online quizzes to do for my first semester classes. And I believe the class in question was our theory of nursing class. I don't remember. I don't know. It was like history of nursing, theory of nursing. I don't remember. It was a super boring class. Anyway, we had these quizzes that we had to do. And there was a quiz bank. And so the instructor encouraged us, do these with a friend. It's totally fine if you do them as a group. That way you get to see more of the test bank and you'll be better prepared for the exam. So great. Okay. So the initial reaction, what do you think the initial reaction was? I want to see as many of the test bank questions as possible, right? Let's do this as a big group. So that was like the plan. Well, I had started nursing school with kind of like a group of like 7 or 8 of us that, it was kind of like our core group. But word got out. And before I knew it, I showed up to the student union to do these quizzes. And there weren't 7 or 8 people there. There were like 20 people there, something like that. It was humongous. And each quiz was 20 questions long. And I noticed, like, I think I sat through 2 people doing their quizzes. And I want to say, by the time, we went through each question, everybody discussing what the right answer was, and then getting through that quiz, it was probably 20 minutes for one quiz. Maybe I sat through 2 of those before I did the math and realized I do not have hours to sit here watching everybody else do their quizzes. Time is my most valuable asset. I'm going to go home, do this quiz by myself or with one other person and maximize my time, right? So that was an example of a big group that didn't really have clear objectives or a structured way to get things done efficiently, and it just ended up being a huge waste of time. Ever since then, I avoided big study groups because I just found them to be really, really ineffective. Being efficient with your time, I cannot say this enough. If you haven't started nursing school yet, you will very soon be like, oh, now I get what Mo was saying. Being efficient with your time is at the heart of just about everything that you do in nursing school. So if you notice that your study group is causing you to lose more time than what you gain in knowledge, it's time to cut and run and maybe start a different study group or find like one other person that you really study well with. I think Anne is saying something to that regard. Yeah, you don't know how to find the right people. It's especially hard, and if you're not in physical classes. So, what I would do if you're looking for someone to study with, I would post something in your Canvas or your Blackboard or what have you that's very clear. Okay, so here's my experience with study groups and people wanting to join study groups. Last year, when COVID first hit and schools were shutting down and I was doing boot camp, I thought, well, everybody was freaking out because they were going to be fully online and they felt really disconnected, right? So I thought, I'm going to help them study with each other, like form these study buddy groups so that at least if they don't know anybody at school, they can know somebody from boot camp. And if they're both first semester, they can kind of review the same concepts, right? What I quickly found was everybody wanted to join a study group. Very few people wanted to lead and organize a study group. So, Anne, when you go on to Canvas or whatever to post that you're looking for study group, I guarantee you're probably going to get a lot of responses because people like study group. That's it. That's the answer, right? So what I would do then is be super clear. If you really have no idea who to approach and you just want to put it out there, I would say in a very clear way, I'm looking for a study partner, which is one person, right? I'm looking for a study partner who learns well by talking things out, or who learns well by quizzing each other, or who learns well by drawing pictures and graphs. Like, be very specific about the type of person that you feel you would benefit from studying with. If you just say, I'm looking to start a study group, then it's going to be like a whole bunch of people. And then how do you manage that, right? So that's how I would put that message out there. We're going to talk about how to kind of set some ground rules so that you have a study group that's super effective, okay? Chanel also wants to find a study buddy. Okay, so try that. Let me know how it goes. Another thing is, I don't know, Anne, have you already started school and met some people? You can always just approach someone individually and say, you seem like it seems like we learn kind of in the same way, or you seem really motivated. Are you interested in forming a 2-person study group? And make it very clear that it's just the two of you, okay? Yeah, Chanel says, that's what happened. She ended up doing a lot of work and not benefiting from it. Yeah, okay. Amanda says, study group was too much work for me. She will try these tips. Okay, great. Okay, in 3 weeks, Anne will be in class. Okay, give that a whirl, Anne. Okay, so where was I? Oh, yeah, okay. Let's talk about just some quick tips for making your study group productive, whether it's you and 2 other people or you and 1 other person, really more than 3 people, 4 at the absolute max. Because beyond that, it's just too much. It gets unwieldy. So my first kind of rule of thumb would be keep it small, no more than 4 people max, keep it super focused. That would be the first thing. If you can also line up with people who do learn in the same way, if you're all really great at learning by talking through concepts, that's going to be So much more productive than if you learn visually, but everybody else learns by talking things out. You're not going to get very much out of that study group. So try to find a group where your preferred learning style matches up with the other people, okay? Set a start and set an end time for all your meetings. This ensures accountability and it ensures you get to work and stay focused. If you know you've only got 75 minutes, then let's be mega productive for that 75 minutes. Respect your time and everybody else's, okay? And then I would set some very specific ground rules around side conversations, cell phone use, off topic discussions, those kinds of things, keeping the focus on studying. I would even probably say no latecomers. Maybe that's me. I have a pet peeve about lateness. If you're coming to the study group, be on time. And these are the other ground rules, and we're ending at exactly 6 p.m. or whatever it is, okay? I would also set specific goals for each session that you're meeting. Like, have an agenda. I'm not saying like write out an agenda and distribute it to everyone, but the general concept of that, right? Have you ever been to a meeting at work where there's no agenda? Oh my gosh, such a waste of time, right? So have a goal, whether it's prepping for an upcoming exam, or maybe it's looking at a very specific concept that was just taught. Maybe it's a little bit more of an in-depth concept. You're looking in depth at that. Maybe you're practicing a skill, like let's do dosage calculations, let's do ABG interpretation, whatever. Rehearsing for a checkoff would be another really good one. So be specific about what you're studying for. And you can always do like a doodly poll if you've got your 4 people and like, okay guys, what should we study on Thursday when we get together at 5 p.m.? This, or this, and then you have a consensus that most of the people want to study ABG interpretation. Great, let's do that. I would also set clear expectations for how the studying is going to occur. Generally, ineffective study groups that I've sat in on, it's just people talking and not really doing anything productive. So are you quizzing each other? Are you choosing a leader to present a topic and teach to the other people? Are you reviewing the lecture? Whatever that is. I heard from a student who had a small study group and they played, what did she call it? I think she called it playing popcorn. Was that what it was? And they would bring up a subject that was going to be on the exam, like hypokalemia. And then they would each take turns saying a key thing they knew about hypokalemia and go around like that. And so it was kind of a game so that if it came around to you and you were stumped, you lost a point or whatever. But that sounded kind of fun to me. So that would be another kind of fun way to do. And then just again, addressing the different learning styles. Hopefully you're in a group with other people who learn kind of in the same way that you do. So smaller size, set some ground rules, set some goals, and try to align learning styles. That is how to have an effective study group, okay? And then Teresa is saying, are you at a disadvantage if you don't have one? No, absolutely not. So I did not do any, I worked with other students on like case studies and things like that, but otherwise I just did stuff on my own because I could be so much more efficient, Teresa, and I didn't waste my time and I got a lot more done. But that's just me. Some students do better when they have that accountability of a partner. So I would say, if you're nervous, I find a study partner, like I was talking about with Anne, and see how that feels. No more than 3 or 4 people, you guys. It just has the risk of running off the rails, becoming unfocused, becoming a gossip session, a venting session, which you do need to have, by the way, but make it specific. Like have social hour with your classmates where you don't study. There's no expectation to study and you just gripe about your clinical instructor. That's fine, okay? But keep it separate from your study sessions, okay? You're not at a disadvantage by not being in a big study group, and you're probably at more an advantage by having this very focused study partner or a very small group. Chanel says it was hard to find people that wanted to be serious. Yeah, that could be an issue too, depending on, like Chanel says, she was the only, adult student, older student in her class. You might have very different motivations, dedication to your studies than somebody else. That's absolutely true. Chanel made Kahoot games. I don't know what that is. I'm going to look that up. It sounds fun. It has the word games in it. Okay, you guys, so I hope that helps you with your study group. I don't want you to feel like if you see everybody else joining these big groups that you're missing out. I guarantee you they're going to spend a lot more time spinning their wheels than you would if you were just you by yourself or you with a study partner or a couple other people, okay? So don't get FOMO about it because you see a group of 12 people that are going to study together. That's probably most likely, I'm going to say 98% chance, going to be a huge waste of time for every single one of them. So I want you to be uber focused and save time so that you can sleep. As you know, everything that I do comes down to how many hours of sleep we can get at the end of the day, right? Okay, tomorrow for the mindset edit, you guys, we're going to talk about using a planner for nursing school and kind of just some best practices around how to do that so that you can manage your time really intentionally and really well. Okay, so I will see you back here tomorrow for that. And I don't know what time that is, you guys. I think I do. Hold on, let me look. I've got it written down. I think it's early because I work tomorrow. Oh my, it's at 8:30. 8:30 in the morning. I can do it. I can rally. I'll just put my hair up. So 8:30 Pacific tomorrow, talking about how to use a planner for nursing school. See you then. Bye.